Christ. I see Christ in you. You my brother. Okay, hold up. Yeah, I see Christ in you.
I esteem all my bros to be better than me. Truth be told, truth be told, this is what we must do to avoid envy. Truth be told, truth be told, and blacks and Hispanics are family. Truth be told, truth be told, I just pray you see Christ when you see me. Truth be told, truth be told.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. You are now tuning into Truth Be Told DC, broadcasting live via listenvisionlive.com. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear the truth according to the Bible, hosted by IUIC DC. For music, clothing, and instruments of learning, visit originalroyalty.com and israelunite.org. Shalom.
Shalom, fam. Welcome back to Truth Be Told DC. I'm Officer Matthew, and to my right,
Soldier Daniel.
and to my left.
Officer Phineas.
Officer Mendel.
So today's topic is the drug game is a setup. So before we get into that, let's open up with John 8:32.
The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So the truth is that's going to set you free that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are indeed the biblical Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
You're called to repentance in these last days. So let's get on into it because the drugs is obviously plaguing our community. We got brothers down smoking K2 and synthetic weed. You know, weed was bad enough because people think you can actually smoke weed in the scripture. So we're going to get right in there. Let's go with Genesis 1 and 29.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 29. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed,
That's where the Negro stopped. There you go. The Most High gave it. Let's see.
which is upon the face of all the earth,
Uh-huh.
and every tree, and which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
To you shall be for meat, meaning you eating. We not talking about no weed brownies. We're going to get the scriptures to debunk that foolishness too.
Right.
Keep going.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air,
Mhm.
and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every herb, every green herb for meat, and it was so.
So that's what the herbs is for you to eat and medicinal purposes. So not sitting back getting high and all that other stuff. That's not what the scripture is going
When
into.
you think about that, some green herb plants you don't actually eat.
Right.
It's used for medicinal purposes only.
That's right. So same thing with the marijuana. The Negro try to use that scripture there and you know, justify smoking weed.
Right.
So we're going to get that. Let's see if you can be high according to the scriptures.
The book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 2. That the aged men be sober.
Be what?
Be sober.
So when you high on weed, that obviously you not sober.
Right.
Grave.
It means serious.
Temperate.
Mm-hmm.
Sound in faith. In charity and patience.
Go to the young men in verse 6.
Verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Exhort to be sober-minded, because it seems like the young brothers, you got to exhort to be sober-minded as a young person, because it's hard to sit out here. You see a lot of young boys walking around high now.
Yeah, every Sabbath when we go to camp, there'll be K2 in the air.
Yeah, it's just zombies all over the place,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It's insane. Keep going.
Verse 7. In all things showing thyself a pattern of good works.
So in all things, that mean that your job, showing a pattern of good works. You showing up to the job and you smelling like weed. I mean, it's just foolish. And then they legalize it, but yet on your job you can still get fired for it. That's why the drug game is a total setup.
Yep. Trap.
You know what else crazy? When you driving behind somebody and you can smell it coming out their car.
Right.
That stuff's so funky, man. They driving down the street. They don't know who behind them. It could be the police or anything. And you know how, these things happening with the police now.
Right. And they
You mess around and get pulled over for something like that, you could wind up getting shot.
right. And they got I just seen on the headlines they got a weed breathalyzer now.
Wow.
So yep. Just seen that in the headlines today. So
It's
take
a
a look
trap.
at that. It's always a setup. So let's go ahead and get that wisdom of Solomon, man. 16 and 12. I got it right here. So yeah, get that joint.
Yeah, because like you were saying, here in the D.C. area, they done legalized
Right.
marijuana, which is nothing but a trap. Because guess what, black man, Hispanic man, you go to your job, they do drug tests.
And you piss and you
Yeah,
done.
You done. It's a trap. It's a setup.
Yeah.
The book of wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, verse 12. For it was neither herb, nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health.
So that's showing you that the herbs what we read in the scriptures was to restore you to health.
But thy word, O Lord,
But the what?
but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
So you got a brother talking about he's smoking weed because it's glaucoma, but the scriptures say the word heal all things. So we got to get in there. We're going to roll this video called Flocka Drug Outbreak. So this was going on with brothers smoking this K2 out here in the streets, or Mojo, whatever else they call it.
A new synthetic killer drug known as Flakka is spreading rapidly across the United States and already causing an epidemic of overdose fatalities and acts of violence.
We're talking about Flakka.
Flakka.
The drug is called Flakka,
Some have dubbed it the insanity drug.
and it's everywhere.
It's been described as the scariest drug in the world. More powerful than heroin or cocaine.
This is a synthetic drug that can alter your state of mind, raising excited delirium, body temperature, and literally losing their mind.
They're all experiencing like superhuman kind of strengths.
Or it takes 6 policemen to hold them down. That's a problem.
Psychotic breakdowns, hallucinations,
aggressive, violent behavior,
Cannibalism and self-mutilation.
indiscriminate violence. When Flakka takes over,
We are living in the context of the end of the age. We are a nation under judgment. But you think it's bad. Wait until you see what really bad is.
We're here driving, and there's a guy that jumped on our hood of our car. It's insane. Hit Illinois, Ohio, Texas, Kentucky, California, and Florida, especially hard.
Florida is now the epicenter of the outbreak.
There's been many crazy stories of people having unbelievable strength.
Some people would have like superhuman strength. People have taken Flakka, and it's taken 6 police officers to hold them down.
People tearing off their clothes, running around the streets naked.
In Revelation 18, there's a very, very important passage. In that passage, if you read it, you will find very clearly that the kings of the earth and the great merchants of the earth conspire together, and it says they do sorcery, and the word used there is pharmakia, which is the use of drugs to control the activities of the world, and it says through this they deceive the nations of the earth. So in conclusion to this mass invocation of demonic spirits in people, drugs play a key role in opening portals and contacting the spirit world.
What was going on in your body, in your mind? What was happening to you?
I never experienced anything like that before. I felt that I was possessed, and I couldn't try to stop whatever was in me.
You described this as, you said, was it like hell on the inside or the devil? How did you describe it?
It felt so evil. It felt like the most darkest, evilest thing that is imaginable.
Many of them will see dead bodies that aren't dead, whether it be animals or humans. They can actually feel the body, they could see the body. Others are seeing people following them.
There were visuals that we get that were so grotesque. They're like nothing I could ever even think up, or nothing I've seen in a movie. It felt very demonic, very evil.
The consumption of substances with psychotropic properties are becoming increasingly significant. The impact is already happening in society with the number of people who are succumbing to the spiritual impacts of drug consumption and other kind of occult activity, and as well as the increase in psychotic violence that's occurring.
I think that we're going to see waves of this that are going to be very, very devastating.
Yeah, Joe. They need to run a commercial for that.
Yeah. That one dude though that ran into the back of that car window, I'd like to see if he could sign with the Redskins, man.
Yeah.
The way that man was hitting.
Well, yeah, though. But on the serious tip, though, that stuff ain't no good, man. And people see that and still go out smoking that garbage.
That's the crazy part.
You know, get Deuteronomy 28 and 28, man, because you seeing that and you still go out there and smoke that. This is gonna make it real clear right here. Because our people are afflicted with these curses, and we looking for the help in all the wrong places, man. Like, that mess right there was just madness.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness, and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Cause you seeing how people on this astonishing, man, running through windows, diving, dude, dove head onto a car, man. Come on, Joe. And Joe is still out here smoking that mess. Let's get that in Sirach 38, cause this is what the medicines, this is what the herbs was for right here.
The book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of
instruments to get high off.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
He that is wise will not abhor them. Meaning wise, you understand the scriptures. You wise, you're able to use the scriptures as discernment. You're not smoking weed, man.
Right.
You're not getting high.
Right.
Keep going.
Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he hath given men skill.
So the Most High gave men skill to create these different medicines out the earth,
that he might be honored in his marvelous works.
So you say, man, that that holistic doctor, man, cured me X, Y, and Z. Like they had the one doctor that got put to death down there, Dr. Sebi. He was blessed with this, with the skills. He wasn't down there prescribing no marijuana to people.
He did smoke it though.
Hey, look, and not the man that has the skill that's creating these artificial medicines.
Right.
They got like 50 side effects.
Right. Yeah. You read the daggone, you trying to get rid of something. I was reading, well, yeah, how is that a symptom? That's a permanent condition.
Like, y'all not even joking, though. I heard the commercials where they said the side effect is death.
Yeah.
Right. How is that a side effect or a leaky anus? Like, what?
Right.
What the? I got a migraine now. My ass is bleeding. What the hell is this? Sound like that Obamacare, man. Breaking people off, man. You got that me in Psalms 104?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's get that Psalms 104. Yeah, man. Them side effects ridiculous.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 14. He caused the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of man.
And what?
And the herb for service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth.
So that service is going in the food and the medicines, not using it to get in an altered state of mind. That's actually going into witchcraft, and you're seeing that demonic possession when people fooling with that stuff. They thinking it's a game out here, man. You get something on, you ain't gonna never get it off for you.
Right.
Let's go ahead and run this. Get that last verse. Get that last verse.
Verse 15.
15. Yeah, 15.
Verse 15. And wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth a man's heart.
So it's going into things, you use these things in moderation, wine, so forth and so on. You're not drinking too much and you're not eating too much. You got that right balance. Right. Let's go ahead and roll that commercial, 12 tribes. That's a classic collection right there. That's something you gotta have. Something you gotta have. Let's go ahead and get this Sirach 31 because the brother might be thinking he can sit here and cure his ailments by drinking too much. So the scriptures is gonna get on that too.
Hey, a lot of them wake up early in the morning.
Right, getting fried. We see that every Sabbath.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 31, verse 27. Wine is good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately.
If it be what?
If it be drunk moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it is made to make men glad.
So you drinking, you doing it right. You got a nice buzz. You feeling good, but you're not around there stumbling, peeing on yourself and all that. Just walking around hammered. That's not.
Because that don't mean you drunk immoderately if you're
right.
doing that.
Exactly.
Fighting.
Yeah, fighting. You know Negroes gonna be fighting.
Wine measurably drunk And in season.
So it's drunk in measure and in season. Not when you wake up in the morning, 4 a.m, brother got the Mad Dog 2020 to his lips. His brother's coffee.
And in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind.
Right.
But wine drunken with excess.
So you drinking too much strong drink or wine or beer
maketh bitterness of the mind.
That's a brother that get drunk and he be crying on your shoulder, all depressed, looking through his phone. Like, brother, get over it, brother.
With brawling and quarreling.
With brawling and quarreling, because that's what Negroes do. You get a pack of Negroes together and throw some alcohol in there,
It's a
somebody
fight.
getting in a fight.
Getting killed.
Shot or stabbed.
Drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool.
What?
Drunkenness increased a rage of a fool.
So you got a foolish brother and you throw alcohol in the mix, he's going to be even more foolish.
Till he offend. It diminished strength.
So that brother's not even going to be able to make sound judgment. He going to be fried jumping behind the wheel driving.
And maketh wounds.
That's when a brother get hurt, wrecked up or something. Because he was operating the vehicle impaired or got into a fight or punched a brick wall, broke his finger up, hand up, wake up in the morning all busted up.
Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine, and despise him not in his mirth. Give him no despiteful words, and press not upon him with urging him to drink.
So that's the thing. You can't be, getting at your brother because he drinking or he not drinking. If he not drinking, you pressing the brother out to drink.
Man, take a shot of this. Take a shot of that.
That's not the spirit, man. That brother don't want to drink, and if a brother's not a drinker, don't be making fun of the brother because he don't want to drink, man. So that's crystal clear on that. So get that Isaiah 5:11, because this is gonna happen to you brothers that rise up early and getting wasted.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning.
Destruction under that brother that rise up early. Well, this is not talking about destruction under you that rise up early looking for a job. What does it say?
That they may follow strong drink.
That they what?
That they may follow strong drink.
That's all on their mind.
Right.
That continue until night, till wine inflames
So
them.
this dude literally drunk
All
from sun
day.
up till sundown.
That's all he want to do.
When we went to camp and that dude was out there making them bird noises.
Yeah.
He was drunk early in the morning.
Yeah.
Crowing and everything.
Yeah,
These dudes be bugging, man.
That's why the scriptures is the medicine, man. Brothers trying to get off the K2, the weed, the drinking, the over drinking. The scriptures is the medicine. We read that in Wisdom of Solomon 16:12. His word healeth all things, man.
Okay, so now the title to the show, we're gonna go over it again because this is the key point. The drug game is a setup.
Total setup.
It's a total setup, and we're gonna go to talk about this a little bit. We're gonna go to Psalms 83.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1.
Here we go.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
So God has enemies. The Israelites have enemies.
Right.
Let's see.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So they hate God and they hate the Israelites.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken what?
They have taken crafty counsel.
The crafty counsel is dumping drugs into our neighborhoods, taking the jobs out, taking opportunities out, and dumping drugs in, making a brother think that's his only way to the top.
Hey, but hold on. I thought that the Christian church said that God loves everybody.
Right.
But right here is saying that they hate God. But hold on. How is it that God loves everybody and everybody can get the kingdom of heaven?
And then they taking crafty counsel against God's people.
There you go.
Well, you know they ain't love for that. Keep going.
It's all a trap.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
The hidden ones. Going into the Israelites, because most Israelites don't realize they're Israelites. They calling themselves African Americans, blacks, Hispanics,
Blasians.
Yeah.
Combination.
Yeah.
Niggas. Whatever title they got. Go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Yeah, because you don't see Israel. It's a new thing now where people hearing about the Israelites, but before the truth started spreading a little bit, nobody heard nothing about the Israelites.
You certainly ain't seen that on your Census Bureau report or your job application.
Yeah, you never saw that on a job application.
And you know the one thing that gets me, you can ask any other nation where they descend from, who they are. They give you this, that, and the third. Only the foolish Negro would say it don't matter. I don't need to know who I am. Only our foolish people say something so dumb. It don't matter who you are.
That's because they've been totally cooned up.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
That's going into the so-called white man, Esau, Edom.
Public enemy number one.
And the Ishmaelites.
That's your Arab right there.
Of Moab.
Chinese.
And the Hagarenes.
African. So we're just going to cover that. We're going to stay right there on this right here. Just to let you know, we got enemies out there and they have taken crafty counsel against us. And we're going to get into some of this crafty counsel.
And that's just CIA, FBI, crooks in action.
We're going to run this video right here. Freeway Ricky Ross.
The real Rick Ross, too.
Ross.
Although Freeway Rick remains locked up, many people still blame him for crack's easy availability.
One time, I went over to this lady's house to drop her off some drugs, and it was the look that the little boy had in his eyes, you know, as if, man, you taking food out of our refrigerator. You know, we're not going to have anything to eat. And I thought about it, I said, man, I was putting him in the same position that I was running from. You know, I basically was running from poverty. That's basically how I got tied up in the drug business, because I never wanted to be a drug dealer, you know, when I was growing up. At one time, I even wanted to be a police officer or a firefighter.
Back in the 80s, the big concern was not terrorism, it was communism. The Iran-Contra affair was one of the biggest political scandals in U.S. history. Members of the Reagan administration, headed by Oliver North, engaged in the sale of arms to Iran. The proceeds from these illegal deals were being used to fund the Contras, a right-wing guerrilla group that Reagan referred to as his freedom fighters. The Contras were fighting the Soviet-backed Sandinistas for the domination of Nicaragua.
The Iran-Contra is very important in history. We have to remember the fact that Iran-Contra, its mandate was to investigate the sales of missiles to Iran.
Former DEA agent Celerino Castillo not only fought in the international effort of the American drug war, he also had the rare opportunity of carrying a camera and recording some of the regrettable actions of the DEA and CIA while they supported President Reagan and Oliver North's Contra movement.
George Bush Sr. came to Guatemala on January 13, 1986, and he approached me and asked me what I did there at the U.S. Embassy, what my job description was, and I told him I was a DEA agent working international narcotics investigations, and I told him, look, you know, we have gathered intelligence that the Contras are involved in drug trafficking down in El Salvador. And then he just smiled, shook my hand, and walked away from me. And it was then and there that I knew that my government knew that these atrocities were occurring.
They were so concerned about giving the guns to Iran and all that stuff. The question should have been asked about all that cocaine flying back over here.
In 1986, on American TV, we were all being fed a steady diet of,
we're taking down the surrender flag that has flown over so many drug efforts. We're running up a battle flag.
this scourge will stop. But regrettably, back in Central America and in the jungle,
I remember down in Central America, we were refueling planes full of cocaine coming into the U.S., and it was a CIA operation being run by the White House.
At the same time all of the cocaine from Nicaragua was flowing into the U.S., Freeway Ricky Ross was at his heyday.
The average week would at least be $2 to $3 million, almost guaranteed. Some days we would have $2 and $3 million days.
After Freeway Rick was arrested, an investigative journalist by the name of Gary Webb uncovered a link that connected him back to the Nicaraguan Contra movement.
I read Dark Alliance. I got a copy personally from Gary Webb himself. And to read the book, it was fascinating for me, you know, to find out that I was connected with the CIA and all these high-powered people up in the government.
Ricky Ross was just lucky. He just happened to get a source who was connected to the CIA.
For a long time in South Central, the buzzword was that the CIA was selling crack. I said, no, the CIA wasn't selling crack. The CIA was importing cocaine. Ricky Ross got it, turned it into crack, and he sold it.
According to Gary Webb's Dark Alliance, when Danilo Blandón was displaced from his home country of Nicaragua, he set off to America to raise money to aid the Contras in ridding his home from the invading Sandinistas. When Ricky Ross was introduced to Blandón, Blandón was in a position to create a pipeline of cocaine that he in turn gave to Ricky Ross on consignment.
Which I like the sound of that, you know, because I was always trying to get to the top anyway.
Suddenly, some major sources opened up for him. Danilo Blandón, Norwin Meneses, both of whom were tied to the CIA and the Contras, and Gary Webb did a masterful job of breaking those stories and proving with documents that that was the case.
Whatever we were running in LA, the profit it was going to the Contra-Revolution.
I started doing a little research on my own, and I read a little bit about Oliver North and the Contras, because I never knew what the Contras was before.
There's ledgers of Oliver North and them actually transporting the cocaine to our country. There's film, every piece of document that's possible.
Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. First-time dealer and former Crip Leroy Chico Brown was arrested with Rick. Chico walked into a DEA sting operation that was set up to capture and imprison Rick and trade for Rick's old partner, Danilo Blandone.
How could this be possible? And then we reading through the documents, and then that's when Gary Webb started explaining it to us, and we was like, everything came together now.
One of the most paramount moments, perhaps caused by Gary Webb's Dark Alliance, took place in November of 1996.
It was a monumental historic event. I mean, the director of the Central Intelligence Agency was coming to Watts to face the people.
Now, we all know that the U.S. government and the CIA supported the Contras in their efforts to overthrow the Sandinista government in Nicaragua in the middle 80s. Now, it is alleged that the CIA also helped the Contras raise money for arms by introducing crack cocaine into California.
Deutsch felt he had to do something to try to deal with the outrage that was foaming all over the country at the time. And of course, it just blew up in his face.
CIA fights drugs. CIA does not encourage drugs.
Well, I mean, it was actually one of the most monumental blunders of all time, if you think about it.
We have no evidence of a conspiracy by the CIA to engage in encouraging drug traffickers in Nicaragua or elsewhere in Latin America.
Deutsch was there because of the Gary Webb stories. The Gary Webb stories had sparked a national furor.
I would like to have Richard Ross's brother to speak, please.
The United States government turned their head and let this cocaine come into the United States of America.
Allow Gary Webb to have full access. This whole thing is orchestrated.
It was near pandemonium. It was about, I guess, 1,200 people in a standing room only in the auditorium, 2,000 people outside listening on loudspeakers. And it was very hard to keep control. I got called on finally, and I said to her very clearly, I was looking right at Deutsch.
I am a former Los Angeles Police narcotics detective, and I worked South Central Los Angeles, and I will tell you, Director Deutsch, the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. I was able to name operations. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country.
He stumbled and stammered and wrung his hands.
Right there. That's why the title of the show is The Drug Game is a Setup. As you can see, they bring the drugs into the communities, then lock you up for having them.
Ship the jobs out.
The CIA on record, documented for bringing drugs in and dumping them in our communities.
Crooks in action, baby.
Yep. All right, so let's get the next scripture. Let's go to this Proverbs 6 and 16.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue.
Yeah, we saw that. My man was up there telling big lies, wasn't
Tell
he?
that man, that detective straight cut him.
And hands that shed innocent blood.
Didn't they shed innocent blood? You remember when the crack epidemic hit, it was cities was in, it was like murders.
Families
Right, but
families
all
tore
the
apart.
brothers and sisters that got put to death down in Nicaragua, though. Thousands, man.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands.
And heart that devised wicked imaginations.
Wicked imaginations. You got to be a wicked person to think something like that.
Right.
We're gonna, take these drugs and dump them into these poor black areas
To
and destroy them.
fund the operation of us overthrowing a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
That right there is just legendary.
Right.
Feet that be swift and run into mischief.
Oh, you know that. They
No,
they was booking to get that stuff done. They couldn't wait to destroy us.
Man, his feet like Sonic the Hedgehog out there.
A false witness that speaketh lies.
We saw that too. False witness that speak lies. The man just sitting up there just straight lying.
The CIA is not involved in running drugs in the world or in the United States. Come on, bro.
And he that sow discord among brethren, my son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother.
And that's what we got to do. The brothers can't be out there sowing discord among their brothers, meaning selling drugs to your own brother, killing your own brothers, man.
Right.
We got to be smarter than that, man.
That's real hatred right
and
there.
Also sowing the discord going to them coons that came in and uprooted the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah, definitely that too. So let's go to Proverbs 20 and 17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 17. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel.
Yeah, because when they run in that game, they think it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But then when that recompense come back, then they want to hoop and holler.
Right. That thing ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Or you think that K2 sweet.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you face planting into an automobile.
Yeah.
Right. You got gravel for real. Your
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah.
They turned into gravel.
Yeah, let's go to Proverbs 26 and 26.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 26. When he speaketh, whose hatred is covered by deceit.
Because they have a hatred for us. We read that in Psalms 83 that they hate us. They
That's
have a
the
hatred.
nations too.
It's covered by deceit. Here, we're going to set you up in these neighborhoods, these ghettos, because we looking out for y'all so y'all got a place to stay, and then they turn around and dump drugs in there.
His wickedness shall be shown before the whole congregation.
And that's what we just saw. That whole plan, what they said was like thousands of people outside,
Right.
people inside.
And a dude came in there and said, man, I know of 3 operations. Pegasus, Watchtower, and something else.
They took him out.
Fried him.
Yeah, fried my man.
Verse 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him.
That's that recompense, meaning that payback. Well, remember George Bush? He was part of it, and Junior, what his
And
daughter
daughters
got. Yeah, his daughters
hooked
got
on something.
Hooked on something. So they dumped the crack in it in your neighborhood.
But the same thing with the heroin today, though.
Yeah.
That was an epidemic, though,
Yeah,
because it's hitting the suburbs.
Yep. It's hitting them. So they trying to take us out, but then it backfires and hits them too.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Now they running commercials. It's an epidemic
Psalms
now.
55.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
And that's how Esau rolls. You know, they talk a good game. Yeah, we here to help you. We got all these programs set up for you.
Yep.
And then the whole time is they just trying to figure out a way they can wipe you off the face of the earth.
Yep. Plenty of our brothers and sisters been bamboozled.
Keep going.
But war was in his heart.
Read that from the top again so they can get the full understanding of that.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Big game.
But war was in his heart.
But what?
But war was in his heart.
They say the war on drugs, right?
Yeah.
Ended up being a war on us.
Right. Exactly.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So that's telling you they coming in the deceit, because what they was on there talking about just say no, Nancy Reagan, all
Nancy
them,
Reagan, just say
no,
no.
and that whole time they peddling drugs. Come on, man. All right, let's run this next video. It's called "Too Big to Fail." It's showing you how even the big banks, even the banks was making money off of the drug.
Right,
game.
HSBC, one of the biggest money launderers of drugs, man.
Go ahead and run it.
David Sokol thinks that he will be able to get away with the same crimes that a guy like Charlie Munger can. But I think, remember, the law only applies selectively to certain people. Some guys are just totally exempt from them. And you see this in this following headline, Max, how a big U.S. bank laundered billions from Mexico's murderous drug gangs. So this is the Guardian News, and they've done a deep investigation into the story that we've covered before, which is Wachovia Bank. And they were found to have laundered $378 billion, or 30% of Mexico's GDP in this time, of drug money.
The cocaine.
Of cocaine, yes. $378 billion.
$378 billion laundered through Wachovia, which of course now is owned by Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway. And of course he's never talked about that either. And it's a huge part of the Mexican GDP. And the bank paid a fine.
Well, it's $378 billion in money laundering through the Casas de Cambio. And they paid a $110 million fine, or less than 2% of 1 year's profits from Wachovia. Wachovia is now owned by Wells Fargo. Warren Buffett owns 6.5% of it. But from this article, there's a very interesting point that I want to note that relates to this whole financial catastrophe. First of all, Wachovia started really getting involved in these Casa de Cambio in 2004, just when the violence really started getting extreme in the Mexican drug wars. In April and May of 2007, 3 years later, Wachovia, as a result of increasing interest and pressure from the U.S. Attorney General's office, began to close its relationship with some of the Casas de Cambio. And then in July of 2007, all of Wachovia's remaining 10 Mexican Casa de Cambio clients operating through London suddenly stopped, July 2007. What happened in August of 2007?
The World Credit Crunch.
The World Credit Crunch began.
So what we see here is that the global banking liquidity is funded from the Mexican cocaine drug cartels. When somebody decided to go after them, they withdrew their liquid cash, because remember, in the global economy, it's all credit and paper money. There's actually no cash except for the drug money. They took the drug money off the market, and they crashed the global economy. The reason Bear Stearns went bankrupt, the reason Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, is because the Mexican drug cartel withdrew their cash from the market as a protest against the investigation. In other words, so Wachovia, if I'm following this correctly, they had to pay a fine. No further investigation was pursued, presumably because if they...
As you can see, it's so much money to be made in the drug game. They actually crashed the global economy.
Right.
When they took the drug money out.
That's why they be taking brothers out left and right in that drug game, man.
You know, Babylon is all about making that money.
That's crazy right there, man. That's crazy. So let's go to Psalms 36, 3 and 4.
The book of Psalms, chapter 36, verse 3. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit.
There it is.
He hath left off to be wise and to do good.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. They always come with a good game. Yeah, we're here to help. We're going to try to fight drugs. We're going to lengthen up the prison sentences. We're going to do all these things to help you. And the whole time, they the ones that's peddling you the drugs. Keep going.
He devised mischief upon his bed. He set himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil.
So they think about these plots while they sitting in the bed talking to their wife, thinking of crazy things that they can do to destroy us. And they said he loves evil. He hate. It says he abhorred not evil, meaning that he loved evil. He don't hate it. Like we hate evil. He loved evil. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to Proverbs 4 and 16.
That thing crazy, man.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fail.
So if they don't get a dumb Negro out on the corner locked up for selling drugs, they're not going to sleep.
They can't sleep.
So, you know, people drink like green tea or something like that, some warm milk to go to sleep. They got to see a brother getting locked up or gaffled in the drug game.
My plans done work. My traps.
Sound sleep.
All right, let's keep it moving.
The book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
It says woe, meaning destruction to them, because that's what's going to happen in the long run. They're going to get that recompense.
No, ain't no question about that.
Right.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
The Most High gave them the power to do these things. As soon as they can get up in the morning, before the sun up, they working evil.
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
What?
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
You just saw that with Nicaragua.
Oh, yeah, they sure did. Took that whole country.
In houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage.
That's why we don't have a heritage now. We just a carbon copy of the white man.
There you go. All right, let's continue. Let's get Isaiah 42 and 22. Because remember, the topic is the drug game is a setup. The other nations are doing nothing but setting up traps. Remember, when we read Psalms 83, it said that these nations hate God and hate the Israelites.
Right, and also, look, it said Edom and Ishmael. Ishmael the one pumping most of the heroin over here now. Afghanistan supplies the world's largest supply of heroin, man. The poppy, I should say.
Yeah.
Opium. Ain't that what it is?
Yeah, the poppy, opium, same thing.
Same difference. The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
This is talking about us. This is a people robbed and spoiled.
They are all of them snared in holes.
See, that's them traps. And it's not just a regular trap of the drug game. They got all types of traps.
Right.
You got traps in your media and everything.
Yeah.
Just think they legalized weed, yet you can still be fired for coming to work high.
Yep.
Right. And they only know the foolish Negro is going to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are hid in prison houses.
There you go. And therefore, you got your weed or you got your K2 and you in prison. Mm-hmm. And look, and when you examine prison, that ain't nothing but free labor. That's nothing but slavery.
Because your boy Clinton was flying it in when Bush was in the White House through Little Rock. Then Clinton get up in there and pass the crime bill. You get caught with three times with a dime bag of weed. You getting 15, 20 years, man. It's a total setup,
a lot
Joe.
of people don't know that. When Clinton was the governor, he was allowing the drugs to fly in Little Rock.
Right.
Yep.
That's where the cocaine was coming through
that's
on the
what made
documentary.
That's what made him, to be on board to be president, because you got to pay your dues.
Right. That's why.
President.
That's why now you got a lot of them start to invest in these private prisons,
Right.
Because they see that's where the money at. They said we got so many traps for these Jakes, we gonna get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Uh-huh.
They are for a prey.
See, for a prey. Read on.
And none deliver.
And nobody's delivering us.
For a spoil and none saith. For a spoil and none saith restore.
You see that? It's saying these other nations that they know that we are a prey and we are spoiled. That's why these other nations will come over here, set up shop in our neighborhood, make all of their money off of us, and take the money out of the neighborhood.
Plunder the community, man.
Yep. And it says nobody is going to restore until Christ returns.
Yeah, that's some restoration. That's not going to be good when we get restored.
Exactly.
For them. Believe
exactly. Let's get this video, Mike. Prophets from prison. Prophets for prison.
A new report by In the Public Interest indicates that a lot of these private prisons that are run by Geo Group or Corrections Corporation of America actually have something written in their contracts that basically indicates that they need an inmate quota. So what is an inmate quota? Well, they have these contracts with the certain states that they operate in, and in the contracts they say that they have to have a 90 to 100% occupancy. So that means that there is more of an incentive to push for tough on crime legislation, and there's more of an incentive to lock up nonviolent drug offenders. So this is a big problem because one huge misconception, and I like to really emphasize this, is that private prisons save these states so much money. But keep in mind that they're not really private because they're funded by taxpayers. The politicians in each particular state will grant a certain amount of taxpayer money to operate these for-profit prisons. Now, this report shows you that a lot of these prisons have these very long-term contracts. They can be 20 years, they can be more than 20 years. Recently, California signed a contract with a for-profit prison, and it is a 5-year contract, so it seems very low, but I feel like that's just the tip of the iceberg. California has a huge problem with overpopulation in the prisons. Now, just to give you a little bit of information from the report, let me read to you what's currently happening.
That video right there just confirming it. Let's continue. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:16.
Bankrolling, man.
Yep.
Yeah, they said that they had a law when they built the prisons that they had to have it 90 to 100% full.
Right. The capacity had to be full.
Hey, it's like they had we got a guarantee that these it's just like when they bring out Jordans.
Right,
it's a guarantee.
They look at the joint. They said we want the no vacancy sign up on there right off the break. They stacking Bammers up to the ceiling, jamming them up in the prison.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 16.
Now this is talking about you Israelites.
Mm-hmm. Cursed.
Because we didn't keep the laws of the Most High God.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So we cursed in the city. Read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So that we in cursed conditions even in the city and in the fields when we was serving, picking cotton, sugar cane, all of that. Now in the city, you got unemployment going crazy. You got drugs through your neighborhoods.
3,000. They hit a milestone. 3,000 people got shot in Chicago this year. What the hell is going on? 3,000.
Ain't that where Obama from?
Yep.
Yeah,
He ain't did nothing for that.
He increased them statistics.
Yep. Read on.
Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store.
That's talk about your savings, and when you look in your neighborhood, where's the black or Hispanic businesses? That's
going
really,
to jail. That's their business.
There you go. Let's get the next verse. 28 and 43 and 48.
Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
So at this time we came out of Egypt, we had strangers that also came out of Egypt because they was like, yeah, we want freedom. So they left up out of Egypt and followed after. That's why it says the strangers that is within thee, which meaning amongst us, they shall get above thee. So this was a prophecy saying, if you don't keep the Most High God's laws, these strangers around you, they're going to be above you.
Exactly.
Read on.
He shall lend to thee. Oh, excuse me. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and shall come down very low.
Because we at the bottom of society, and they at the top. Read on.
Verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
So there you go. It says he shall lend to thee, meaning he owns all of the banks.
Exactly.
Right.
Even some of these black-owned banks, how do you think they got established?
Yeah, they got to get their money.
Yeah, they got to get their money from who? The oppressor.
The money they got still got a dead Edomite on the cover.
There you go. So that means you really don't have your own currency.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
There you go. He is the head of society, and we're at the bottom of society. Let's go jump to 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
You see that? It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, not your friends. And we read who our enemies was in Psalms 83.
Broke it down crystal clear.
It lets you know who are the enemies of the Most High God and the Israelites in Psalms 83. Precept that up. Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So who sent it? The Most High God, because we didn't keep his laws. Read on.
In hunger.
So that means if we want something to eat, if you want to go to the grocery store, whatever, you got to go serve them. Read on.
And in thirst.
You want some water? You got to serve them. Read on.
And in nakedness.
And nakedness, the clothing that you add on your back.
Right.
Guess what? The textile companies, we don't own it. We might own a label, but we don't own the textiles to make the clothing.
Right.
So we got to go serve them. Read on.
And in want of all things.
Anything. Birth certificate, death certificate. If you want to bury your toilet paper to wipe your behind.
Something basic.
Basic necessities. To wash your behind, the soap, anything. You got to go to them. Read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now, so when you examine world history, what nation of people put yokes of iron on another nation of people? That's clear. Yeah, that's clear.
Now they just moved around our heads.
Exactly. Now your mind destroyed. Read on.
Until he have destroyed.
There you go. He's already indoctrinated you. That's the destruction. The indoctrination.
Right. On that video clip we seen with that flock outbreak, brothers and sisters
bugged out.
Looking crazy. Looking like something off the Walking Dead.
Right, exactly. Let's get Zechariah 9 and 12.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold.
Let's talk. Turn you to the stronghold, which is the Bible. Mm-hmm. Read on.
Ye prisoners of hope.
That's talking about us, because we are the prisoners of hope.
Right.
Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
When I have bent Judah for me, fill the bow with Ephraim.
You see that? That's the northern and southern kingdom. Read on.
And raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece.
You see that? Now, see, this is future prophecy. This is when the Most High God is going to raise us back up.
It says against Greece.
Because remember, it said earlier, we read Psalm 83, a nation, the Israelites shall not be known.
Mm-hmm.
So today, they're like they're saying, in the Census Bureau, there is no nation of Israel.
Right. But they know who you are, though. They know you Israel.
Oh, yeah,
That's
they know who you
documented in
are.
the scriptures, too.
That's another trap. They want to keep you fooled saying, no, you're African American, you're West Indies. Those are traps, because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what's required of you.
Right, and you definitely don't know where you're going.
Yep. Read on.
And made thee as a sword of a mighty man.
You see that? So the Most High God is going to raise up the Israelites and fight against Greece, which is Esau, also known as the white man. Read on. Is that it on that?
That's it on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get this commercial, Royal Jews. right, let's get another prophecy. Let's continue. Let's get Isaiah 14:1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Hold on. So that means the Lord's not going to have mercy on all nations?
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
That's the Israelites. Read on.
And will yet choose Israel.
There you go. It's still saying will yet choose Israel, not all nations.
That ain't happened yet. So that's still
and
got to be fulfilled.
Right, and this is a future prophecy. Right. Now let's see. What about the other nations? Let's continue.
And set them in their own land.
So we're going to get our land back. Read on.
And the strangers.
So these are the other nations.
Shall be joined with him.
Oh, okay. So they're going to come with us. Let's read on.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They're going to be amongst us. Read on.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
So we're going to take them.
That sounds like ownership.
Take them and bring them to our place. Read on.
And the house of Israel shall possess them.
Oh, there we go. So we're going to possess them, meaning they are possession.
Exactly.
In the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
There you go. So if the possession part wasn't clear, he's letting you know they're going to be servants and handmaids.
That's scripture.
There you go.
And they shall take them captives whose captives they were.
Oh, now that right there is even more clarification. Yeah. They shall take them captives whose captives they were.
So right now
we in the prison self-explanatory, man.
Yeah, so right now we in the prison houses, they going to be in the prison houses.
There you go.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
So hold on.
How do you not get that?
Yeah, because we in an oppressed state right now. Read on.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
So when you up here saying, dang, I got captivity, the Most High is going to give you rest from that during that time. This is a future prophecy. Has not come to pass yet. Let's get Amos 9:9.
The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
Okay, so now, this is right here is talking about the Most High God is going to send them angels down to sift the nation of Israel. So at that time, there's not going to be no heathen sneaking in, faking like, I'm Israel. You see my skin dark upon me. I'm black. You ain't fooling angels. Read on.
Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
You see that? Not the least grain shall fall upon the earth. So no Israelites going to be left out. Those heathens are going to be sifted out.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Now see that part right there. There you go. Now all those that transgress the laws of the Most High God will die by the sword.
I'm under grace, brother.
There you go. Yeah, I'm
that
under grace.
Your grace.
You know what? That's what they're going to be saying. During that time, but I'm under grace. Yeah, Jesus, what happened, Jesus? I thought I was under grace.
The evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen.
There you see, it's even right there. It says the tabernacle of David has fallen because we're at the bottom of society. We have fallen. Christ, when he returns, he and the Most High God, they're going to raise us up
and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
You see that? So the kingdom will be returned unto the Israelites.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom.
What? Wait a minute. So we're going to possess the ones that's left over
from the slaughter
of Edom, from the destruction.
And of all the heathen, which are called by my name.
So it wasn't just of Edom.
Nah.
Ham going to be there, Ishmael.
So all this crafty counsel to get us locked up.
Yep.
But Christ changed that, brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Christ, he loves everybody.
Yeah, okay.
We got to get
that. He changed that, man.
Yep. Let's get that. Revelation 13.
The book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 10. He that
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So that means if you have the understanding, then understand this. Read on.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So that means, the Most High God is a just God. You think that all of the atrocities that have been done to our people, our Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters, and the Southern Kingdom, all of these atrocities which they have not paid for. You think the Most High God is just going to let that slide?
That don't even make sense.
So in other words, Jesus didn't change nothing.
Right.
Exactly.
It's about to prove that. He that killeth with the sword.
There you go.
Must be killed with the sword.
Vessels of wrath.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
So hold on. This is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And there's no better way to end this show So with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Most High Christ bless.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Read. Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. It's the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard. It's just the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Milking the profit from the trees, but destroyed my roots. But they don't fall too far from where they grew. We're never in the cycle. You either shoot or moonwalk. Choose your Michael. Either way, slaves entertain to maintain their day to day. But God is great and His mercy abounds forever. Just stare in the mirror. Hopefully you'll see the treasure buried deep inside of you. We told you that you were pure gold, so much so the kingdom we getting paved with gold roads. Drove them to anger. We had to pay a biblical toll. Black and beautiful, the highest only chose us. Shout out to Ephraim, my brother from another mother. Two sticks grafted together, try to tear us asunder. Rulership over the earth, make the nations covered. Royalty in its purest form, they gotta wonder how they compare to a drop. He chose to love us.
It's the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard. It's just the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard.
To whom much is given, then much is required. Solidifying our election with the verses we write in to keep you inspired. Our only hopes you stay in the truth. Resisting the guilty pleasures, you know forbidden fruits. Destroying the youth with hopes to keep them in the abyss. So as men we fish, the hope is they confess and repent. The scripture is nourishment to those who want the vitamins for the spirit. We bringing forth the action, so a light of a spirit. Refusing to hear it. When it's the black cream that sets us above. Knowing Esau has he hated, but Jacob he loved. Foretold and ordained that we'd enslave the nations. They scattered and murdered us with great indignation. Whose coming is after the works and fire of Satan. But I ain't debating. I'm just a vessel that's used to build this ministry. On the platform, on the sound, waits for him to speak.
It's the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard. It's just the black cream that sets us above. They jealous cause we the only people he love. Got you wishing you was called to serve the black God. Repent and keep the laws, nah it ain't hard.